5 rice tricks that multiply earthworms and supercharge your soil for pennies. Every year, gardeners spend hundreds of dollars trying to improve soil that never seems to stay improved. The fertilizer goes down. The plants respond for a while. Then a few weeks later, everything feels like it needs feeding again. Most people assume they need a better fertilizer. What if the real problem is that they are feeding the plants instead of feeding the workforce underneath them? Because the most productive workers in your entire garden are not roots. They are not fertilizer. And they are definitely not something you buy in a bottle. They are earthworms. And one of the cheapest ways to multiply them might already be sitting in your kitchen right now. In fact, the cloudy water most people pour down the drain after rinsing rice can trigger a chain reaction that ends with richer soil, more worm activity, and healthier plants. I ignored it for years. I wish I hadn't. Today I'm showing you 5 rice tricks that work through 5 completely different biological mechanisms. One of them works so well I stopped pouring rice water down the drain the same day I learned about it. And there is one common gardening practice that can destroy the entire system no matter how many rice tricks you use. Welcome back to Roots and Garden. Here's the foundation most gardeners never see. 1 square meter of healthy garden soil can hold up to 300 earthworms. Each one processes its own body weight in organic matter every single day. What they leave behind, their castings, contains 5 to 11 times more nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium than the surrounding soil. That is not a marginal improvement. That is the difference between soil that needs constant feeding and soil that feeds itself. A 2023 study in Nature Communications estimated that earthworms contribute to approximately 6.5% of total global grain production. The same workforce helping feed billions of people, operating entirely underground, at zero cost. Here is the part most gardeners miss. Earthworms do not eat soil, they do not eat roots, they do not eat fertilizer. Earthworms eat microbes, bacteria and fungi that colonize decomposing organic matter. Which means the question has never been how to buy more worms. The question is how to feed what the worms eat. Rice, in 5 different forms, answers that question directly. Each form feeds the chain at a different speed, through a different mechanism, for a different duration. The most productive workforce in your garden eats for free. You just have to know how to feed it. Trick 1. Cooked rice. The first time you scatter a handful of leftover rice on a garden bed and cover it with mulch, it feels wrong. Like you have misunderstood something. Within 48 hours, what happens beneath that mulch layer changes the feeling entirely. Plain cooked rice begins decomposing within a day. The starch is already gelatinized, already broken open by heat, which means it is immediately available to soil bacteria without any further processing required. Bacteria colonize the grain's surfaces first. Fungi follow within days, threading outward through the softening grain and into the surrounding soil. That concentrated microbial bloom is exactly what earthworms detect and move toward. The worms are not eating the rice. They are eating the microbial film the rice generates. A handful of cooked rice does not feed earthworms. It calls them. 2 to 3 tablespoons per square foot. Press lightly into the surface, cover with mulch. Every 2 to 3 weeks through the growing season. Plain rice only. No salt, no oil, nothing added. Salt suppresses the very microbial bloom you are trying to create. Oil lays a hydrophobic film that slows everything down. And do not over-apply. Too much starch at once spikes microbial oxygen consumption and temporarily creates anaerobic conditions. Small and frequent always outperforms 1 large dump. 2 tablespoons, not 2 cups. In 14 days, go out in the morning before the soil dries. Look for small mounds of dark, grainy soil clustered slightly above the surface level of your bed. Casting clusters. The worms will tell you it is working. The bloom from cooked rice fades within 1 to 2 weeks. That is where the next trick comes in. Drop your current soil condition in the comments. Just one word. Thriving or depleted. I want to know which situation this video is most needed for. Trick 2. Crushed raw rice. Crushed raw rice looks like it should do less. The grains are hard, dry, intact, but the mechanism it triggers operates over a completely different timescale, and that difference is exactly the point. Raw starch granules break down more slowly than gelatinized cooked starch. Soil moisture gradually penetrates the cracked grain over 2 to 4 weeks, activating the starch in stages. Instead of a spike that fades, you get a steadier, more sustained microbial signal that keeps earthworms active in the treated zone across an entire growing period. A 2016 study by Porzamani and colleagues tested rice-based substrates in earthworm systems and found that rice-based inputs produced high-quality vermicompost with elevated nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium in the resulting castings. The input improves the output. The worm castings produced from rice-fed soil are themselves a stronger fertilizer than castings from non-rice-fed soil. Crush dry rice with a rolling pin or pulse briefly in a blender. Not flour, cracked grain. You want the starch interior exposed to moisture, not pulverized. 1 to 2 tablespoons per square foot, worked lightly into the top 2 inches. Cover with mulch. The combination that works best across an entire season: alternate cooked rice every 2 weeks, the fast spike, with crushed raw rice once per month, the sustained baseline. The worms never lose the signal. Which are you trying first? Drop it in the comments. If you cook rice at home, you already have everything you need for the most research-backed version of this entire system. Subscribe to Roots and Garden before we get there. It is free, and Trick 3 is the one that surprised me most. Trick 3, fermented rice water. Every time you rinse a cup of rice before cooking, the cloudy water that washes off gets poured away. What leaves with it: dissolved starches, amino acids, B vitamins, phosphorus, potassium, and surface micronutrients leached from the grain. It is not waste. It is the most accessible liquid biology activator in any kitchen. I poured mine down the drain for years. Left at room temperature for 2 to 3 days, that rinse water ferments. The bacteria and wild yeasts already present on the grain surface multiply rapidly, consuming the available starches and producing a concentrated microbial population in the liquid itself. The result is not just nutrient-rich water. It is a living drench. Japanese natural farming traditions codified these exact methods generations before Western science could explain the mechanism. Korean natural farming systems documented rice-based microbial inoculants as a core practice. The farms that built this knowledge did not wait for peer review. A 2021 study by Nabayi and colleagues, published in Sustainability, documented what happens in detail. Sitting at room temperature for 2 to 3 days significantly increases concentrations of beneficial bacteria while raising available nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium in the liquid. And here is the part worth writing down. The microbial population peaks at exactly 3 days. Wait longer and you lose biology, not gain it. Beyond 3 days, the liquid becomes too acidic and the beneficial population declines. Set a reminder, 3 days, then apply or refrigerate for up to 1 week. A 2023 follow-up study by the same research group published in Helion tested fermented rice water across 3 consecutive field planting cycles. Beneficial soil bacteria increased, including nitrogen-fixing and phosphorus-solubilizing organisms. Plant growth improved. Nutrient uptake increased. Soil bacterial diversity rose across every treated plot. 3 separate growing seasons, the same result each time. That is not a single finding. That is a pattern. Rinse 1 cup of uncooked rice in 2 cups of water. Save the cloudy water. Cover loosely. Gas exchange matters. Leave at room temperature for exactly 2 to 3 days. It will develop a slightly sour smell. That is correct. That is what you want. Dilute 1 to 1 with fresh water. Apply to the soil around plants once per week, not on the leaves, on the soil surface where the root zone begins. Have you been pouring rice rinse water down the drain? Yes or no below. If you have already used it, tell me what you noticed. Trick 4, the worm bin and compost pile. The first 3 tricks work in the garden bed. Trick 4 works upstream, in the systems that produce the amendments your whole garden depends on. A 2018 study by Eliamin and colleagues found that rice residue significantly increased earthworm body weight and biomass while reducing mortality. A 2020 study in PeerJ documented that earthworms completely consumed rice straw residues within 4 weeks. Identical residues without earthworms remained largely intact after 18 weeks. The worms did not just eat it, they consumed it at a rate that suggests rice is one of the most attractive organic inputs available to them. What that means in practice: a worm bin receiving rice generates more castings than the same bin without it. More of the most nutrient-dense amendment in your toolkit going back into the beds. The upstream system feeds the downstream system. The chain connects. For the worm bin, 2 to 3 tablespoons of plain cooked rice per feeding, mixed with regular kitchen scraps. The rice accelerates microbial colonization of the entire bin. For the compost pile, scatter a thin layer of crushed raw rice between your green and brown layers. The starch accelerates decomposition of the surrounding material. The compost finishes faster. The finished product is biologically richer. Rice feeds microbes. Microbes feed worms. Worms produce castings. Castings build soil. Soil grows food. The kitchen that produces leftover rice and rinse water funds the entire cycle. The total cost across a full growing season, under $5. The return, 25% more yield, documented across 58 studies and a century of research. That is a return most investment portfolios would envy, and this one runs on kitchen scraps. Trick 5. Rice Bran. This one is not in most videos on this topic. This is what makes this version more complete. Rice bran is what gets removed when white rice is processed from brown rice. The thin outer layer of the grain, and it contains the highest concentration of immediately available carbon of any part of the rice plant. In Asian cooking, it is used for pickling. In Western gardening, almost nobody uses it at all. Here's what surprised me when I looked at the research. Rice bran triggers a faster microbial response than whole grain rice in any form. The carbon is already exposed on the surface of the bran particles without any crushing or cooking required. The microbial bloom begins within hours rather than 24 to 48. The worms detect the signal sooner. They arrive sooner. The whole system accelerates. The 2016 Portsamani study confirms it. Of all the rice-based feedstocks tested, rice bran produced the highest quality vermicompost, the fastest stabilization time, and the highest nutrient content in the resulting castings. Highest quality. Fastest. Not marginal improvements. The best result in the entire study. 1 tablespoon per square foot directly on the soil surface. No crushing required. Work lightly into the top inch. Cover with mulch. Reapply every 2 to 3 weeks. Storage note: rice bran has a short shelf life once opened because of its high oil content. Buy in small quantities, store in the refrigerator, use within 2 weeks, and buy raw rice bran, not stabilized. Heat treatment reduces the microbial trigger potential. The raw version is what the research tested. The raw version is what works. Rice bran is available at Asian grocery stores and online for less than the price of a single bottle of liquid fertilizer. Most people walk past it without a second glance. You now know what it does, what to stop: the earthworm killers. Adding the right inputs while continuing the wrong practices achieves nothing. This section is what turns a trick list into a complete system. Synthetic nitrogen in high doses. Van Groningen's 2014 meta-analysis found this explicitly. The positive effects of earthworms become larger when more organic residue is present, but disappear when soil nitrogen is already high. Heavy synthetic nitrogen tells the earthworm population that the food chain is already managed. They reduce reproduction accordingly. The fertilizer designed to boost your garden is suppressing the workforce that would have boosted it more. Deep cultivation. Earthworm egg cases and juvenile worms concentrate in the top 6 to 8 inches. Mechanical deep cultivation destroys both. A bed built up with rice tricks over 2 months, then deeply turned in one afternoon, loses most of that population in a single session. Let the worms do the tillage. That is their other function. Bare soil. Exposed to sun and rain, bare soil loses moisture rapidly. Earthworms retreat downward when the surface dries out. Mulch over any bed receiving rice inputs is not optional. It is what keeps the worms in the zone where the food is. Slug pellets. Metaldehyde-based slug pellets are among the most documented earthworm toxins in common garden use. Iron phosphate alternatives are significantly safer. Building an earthworm population with 5 rice tricks and then applying metaldehyde slug bait is 2 investments directly canceling each other. What to look for in 14 days. In the morning, before the soil dries, check the surface of treated beds. Earthworm castings look like small mounds of dark, grainy soil, different in color and texture from everything around them. Compressed dark pellets clustered slightly above surface level. Once you know what you are looking for, you will not mistake them for anything else. Within 7 days, increase surface moisture retention in treated areas. Visible dark spots where microbial activity is happening. Within 14 days, casting clusters appearing on the treated surface in the morning. Within 30 days, noticeably higher worm count when you gently turn the top 2 inches of treated versus untreated beds side by side. In 14 days, come back to this comment section and drop your report. Did you see casting clusters? Did the worm count change? Every report becomes part of the record for the next gardener who reads it. Across different climates, different soil types, different starting conditions. What most modern gardens have is not bad soil. It is unfed soil. The biology is not gone. It is dormant, waiting for the inputs that signal it is safe to invest in reproduction again. Rice is one of those inputs. 5 different forms, each working through a distinct mechanism, each contributing to the same chain that ends in higher yield, better structure, and soil that improves compounding across seasons. Start tonight. If you have rice in the kitchen, rinse it before cooking and save the water. 3 days from now, dilute it and apply it to your most depleted bed. If you have leftover cooked rice, scatter 2 tablespoons across a bed tomorrow morning and cover it with mulch. The biology will respond within 14 days. Come back to the comments and report what you find. Subscribe to Roots and Garden. Free. This channel produces 1 practical soil building video per week. The garden does not need expensive products. It needs the right inputs. You now have 5 of them.